listen to me while I sing for you this melody. Through a song, I say what I have to say. Sometimes it's the only thing that helps me through the day. So many things on my mind. I gotta have a song that helps me unwind. If it wasn't for music, I don't know what I'd do. I say hard time, help me through. I gotta have a song. Well, yeah, bring me along. Yeah. Well, I gotta have a song. Well, help me carry on.
We'd like to turn the service over to the hands of our pastor. Give her a hearty amen as she comes.
Well, it's good to be here tonight. Yes. I'm preaching a message to you tonight, and the message is about how many people are not serving God because they have nothing in common with him. Nothing. They don't enjoy going to prayer because I don't know who I'm talking to. They don't stay if they go, they don't stay long. So, you know what? In the world, they got what they call I can't say the word. What is it? Reconciling difference. Something like that, okay. But what happens, they file a divorce and say there's nothing we can do. We're not going to make it work. It can't work. That's what it is. So when I was looking at that, I didn't know that the Lord had told Prophet Isaiah to say, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement? I divorced her a long time ago. You know, can you imagine being divorced and not know it? Of course, it happens to some people. He said, whom I have put away, or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you? Behold, for your iniquities have ye sold yourselves, and for your transgression is your mother put away. I put you away because you won't stop sinning. You know what? That makes you really stop to think for a minute. Is that God could really get rid of me? Yes, he can. So if he's put up with it and put up with it and put up with it a long time, after a while, he's going to get tired. The same way in marriages, just regular everyday marriages, it's the same thing. I mean, I love you, I think I do, and I like you, I think I do, or whatever, but they can't get together for some reason. I was counseling a couple before church tonight, and I was saying, no, that won't work. So, I mean, I have sex with you once a month. I mean, you expect the old people to do that, and some old people will beat you out on that one. And that's the truth. So I said, no. If you love somebody, you're going to touch them eventually. I want to spend time with you. You know why y'all don't spend time with God? You're not involved. You don't love him. So it's easy to sit back and say, well, you know, I'm not going to worry about it. I did try to pray this morning. No, when you love somebody, you're going to talk to them. You're going to talk to them. So if you're not compatible, come from the fact that, what do y'all have in common? Y'all oppose each other. We don't get along. Well, what you stand for? I never could understand. I would live my life in a bunch of pressure and all this stuff. I can't do it. I got to live my life where I'm happy. And if I'm not happy, no, I can't do it. Some people stay, he don't love me and I don't love him, so why y'all still together? The same way with God. I don't love him and he don't love me. He loves you. The fact is a one-sided relationship. So that's why, for the most part, people leave God. Because you know what? If you get bored in a relationship, be it in the natural, you're going to eventually pan out. Eventually, I'm going to get out of it. So you got to ask yourself, if my marriage is not working, if it's not working with God, what day is he going to write you off? What day is he going to say enough is enough? It's going to come. And we take too much for granted. We act like he's going to be there all the time. You're not going to keep on mistreating God and expect him to be there for you. It's not going to happen. So when I looked at that, I thought, okay, what can we do for God that makes him know that I truly love you? I truly love you. There's nothing in the world better than that. When I think about my love for him and his love for me, it brings me to tears every single day of my life. I would never stop loving you. I would never do anything that would hurt you or disappoint you with me. I won't do it. If I know you don't like it, I'm not going to do it. If I know for sure that this just does not sit well with you, I'm not going to do it. People can know this and still do it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So Sometimes people, they're unsuited for each other. They should have known that when they was walking around together, that we don't fit. It don't take long in a relationship to find out if you fit. But what about the relationship with God? That he looks forward to me coming to talk to him daily. He looks forward to that. And if he looks forward to it, I am going to give it to him. We've got people that don't they act like God don't have any feelings. He's got feelings. You know, we're made in his image. We're like in his likeness. He loves us. And he proved it by dying and giving his life. He proved it. I'm glad when I made up my mind I was going to serve God, it was settled in there. Too many people come and they're not settled. They think maybe, just maybe, but they're really not settled. I came settled. This is what I want. I'm going after it, and I'm not going to stop until I get it, and I'm going to get more and more and more because there's so much of God that you can continue to get. So I'm going to get all that I can get. When I look at the church, I am troubled. You cannot stay with God, and your nature is not like his. The nature of God, we're supposed to take on this divine nature. When we come to him and say, I want to be saved, we take on his nature, which makes us alike. We're not separated and can't get it together. You think different, I think that. No. My thoughts is going to be what he thinks. I'm in fullness that it digs so deep. Without a doubt. You cannot make it. Without him, you might as well do it with him. Quit coming to God for what you can get. What can you give? What can you give? He said, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement? I divorced her because she kept sinning. In the word, you know what? See, we as the church, we are the bride of Christ. When he comes back, he's looking for us. What are we going to look like? What are we going to do? Are we really going to have the goods? Or are we just kind of going through the motion? I would never, ever put him through that kind of disregard, disrespect, dishonor. I can't do it. Every day, I must talk to you. This morning, this afternoon, at nighttime, and sometimes in the middle of the night. I still want to tell you I love you. You want to hear that. All of us in the natural, we want to hear our mate say to us, I love you. You should be able to say that if you really mean it. I tried to explain to the couple this afternoon, but honey, when you really love somebody, you're going to be all over them. Why not? Have fun together. Get together, build a relationship. Relationships don't just happen. We build relationships. We do the same thing when it comes to God. We build relationships. Because he's worthy. He's worthy of it. You can't stay in the race. The Magruder's got a song that says, if you want to make it, you better, what was it, P? You can't think you old too. It says, you got to want to. I got it now. He said, you got to want to. If you expect to make it, you got to want to. You got to have a want to. And that's the truth. You got to want to do this. You got to want to serve God. There's nothing like it. You won't be able to stay with the Lord because of his nature, of who he is and how he functions, how he thinks. Listen, you can't say, well, we don't even think alike. Well, what did y'all get married for? Why? That's why we have so many divorces. People marry for the wrong reasons. Instead of marrying somebody because you love them. In our day when we got married, we loved this person. Not anymore. People marry for money. They think you can help them out here and you can do this and do that. But when you marry somebody for love, there's nothing else like that. And I'm telling you, I was married for 34 years, and I'm telling you, I couldn't have had more fun in my whole life. We never had a boring marriage. Some people just boring. Somebody told me one time that I was counseling with them some years ago, and she'd been wearing the same gown for the last 10 years. I thought, well, honey, help me. Would the man like to see something different? I said, so he always knows if I want sex when I put this gown on. I thought, if that's not dull, it has no excitement. So if I come in with this cotton gown on, you know it's Freddie Fact. It's unbelievable. Keep the excitement. I used to say, how do you keep excitement in your marriage? You got new things. You're showing each other something different. You've been live with me for 30 years and I see the same old worn out, tired out bed, sheet, and the same thing. Do something exciting, baby. Buy some new sheets. Do something exciting. It's the same old, and some of it is just worn out. And they both, if you look at both of them, they worn out. You shouldn't be worn out in a marriage. With God, you don't never wear yourself out with him. He gets better every day. Yes. No. I'm going to be sure that he knows I love him by what I do and how I do it. That's important. If you could get people in their marriages to marry for the right reason and for love, without a doubt, they would not be having divorce at 50% in this country. They marry all for the wrong reasons. I married because, he seemed like a great guy. You got to be more than great. Great don't last. Well, I like his pecs. I like this. I like that. Them pecs going to hang one day. They're not going to stay just pumped up and you look like he's some Mr. Mighty somebody. Get off of it. Wake up. Wake up. I don't know if some of y'all remember Jack LaLanne. He came out there at, I think he was 70. And every muscle was like, I thought them things are done, buddy. You may have had some in your younger day, but it's done. Had the nerve to take off his shirt. I thought, don't do that. Put it back on, baby. It's too late. There's nothing to show. But make something good out of any situation and you can. God said the church became sold under sin. But this is what the scripture says. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, and neither can it be. So when you look at this, it says, okay, the thing that God put in place for us to follow, we're not doing that because we haven't got saved and we got all this garbage going on. And we're not serving God. I don't know who you serving, but it ain't God. So think for a minute and say, wait a minute. If I'm going to be in this, I'm giving it 100%. 100%. Enmity is the state or feeling of being actively opposed or hostile to someone, or deep-seated dislike. How can I stay with somebody I don't like? I love him. I don't just like him. I love him because he's worthy of that. Every time I think about what you did for me, you didn't have to do it. I say almost every time I pray, God, thank you for not letting me die in my sins. Thank you. Thank you for making it possible for me. I appreciate you. And I don't take it for granted. What can I do for you? The F.C. Barnes sing, what shall I render? What shall I render? He said, everything I give you, you give it back to me. He's always giving back to us. We don't want to give to him. I was looking at something the other day, and I thought about this old song, It's What a Friend We Have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear, what a friend we have. I said to the Lord, well, how many of them can you call your friend? He is a friend that's sticking closer than a brother. He is a friend that loves us. He is a friend that cares about us. Come on. He's the best friend you will ever have. Yes. You can't dislike me and love me at the same time. Something's wrong with that picture. See, when you have enmity against somebody, that's true hatred. As I watch the crucifixion on my computer, and I do it every day in prayer, I pour my heart out to God. God, so sorry. But thank you for making it possible that I could escape a place called hell. Thank you for giving me a way out. I didn't have one before you did that. You didn't have one. Before that, you had nothing. Had nothing. But I look at them crucifying him and I think, how could anybody hate anybody to that level? That you could continue to beat him down and drag him and do all these things to him. And how did you do that? My enemy, I couldn't treat that bad. It's ridiculous. We got to stop for a moment and thank God, I just want you to be pleased with me. That's all. If I please you, nothing else matters in this world. And that's the truth. Understand, we do those things that he likes. He really likes it. Every marriage, I guess, I talked about mine because I don't know what you did in yours, but in my marriage, it was always a good feeling when I cooked Charles something that he wasn't expecting. Always exciting. So when he come from work, he said, what's that, Pooh? I said, I surprised my Pookie. And he feeling just as happy and excited. Because I like to surprise. He liked to surprise me. His was little, but it was a surprise. He never done big things. I accepted him for the little man that he was. Big is not him. But faithful to you, that's him. So, listen, I think if I know you like something, if I love you, won't I be found doing that? You like for me to come to church. You like for me to worship you. You like for me. He wants to be praised. He wants to call him sweet names. Sweet Jesus. No other name like it. You got to go all the way in. Get involved. But if you carnal-minded, you ain't saved. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither will it ever be. So if I marry somebody that he's never going to change and quit being so stupid as to believe you're going to change somebody, you ain't changing nobody. Either people want to be what they want to be, or they're not having you to change nothing. God have to almost knock them down to change them. How you figure you going to change them? It's not going to happen. See? But he said, you got sold under sin. You sold me out for nothing. You sold me out when you left the church for a no good woman. You sold me out when you left for a no good man. Come on, God is worth more than that. His value. Do you understand the value of who he is and what he is? He's everything. I couldn't even consider. In 54 years, I've never considered leaving God. No way. I tell him all the time when I hear people not treating him right and backsliding, because he said, when you backslide, you crucify me afresh. I'm never going to do that. You know what? We need to get involved with God and have an intimacy with him. And I ain't talking about sex. Intimacy is not just sex. You got to understand, we have a bond here. We're united with each other. When the scripture says you become one, how many couples get married and never become one? And as long as you're two, you're never going to have a good marriage. You got to be united. One at all times. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good marriage. Come on. if Charles knew I wanted something when he take me on vacation, he always wait on me hand and feet. That was such a good feeling. Say, stay in the bed, Poop, don't get up. I'm going to serve my Poop breakfast in bed. Yes. And boy, was I spoiled. And he said, I don't want you to do nothing, Poop. You need to rest. You're tired. Always looking out for me. Always considering how I feel. Always. And I remember, now he didn't have to cook it because we could have room service to bring us what we wanted. He wanted to cook it. That's special. That's more time. That's more effort put into it. And then in the evening, honey, just stay there and rest. I'm going to run your bath water for you. You say, is he real? Yes, he is. Run my bath water and sit right there and talk to me. Dry me off if he could. I said, go on, honey, I'm good. Yeah. But think about it. We as a church have become so unbelievably defeated. We don't have no power. We can't inspire anyone else to do anything. We have nothing. Because we don't represent him. Who you represent? If I go in the military, if I go somewhere and I'm with my husband or he's not there or whatever, who's your sponsor? Sergeant Banks is my sponsor. He sponsored me. That's why I'm here. But we're doing things in unison. Now, at the beginning of the marriage, we got a lot of little nicky stuff you got to work out. Don't get it wrong that you're just going to walk in there and it's going to be yada, yada, do. No, you got to work at it. Charles, he has some crazy ideas, but I got him away from him over time. And I said, honey, you got to remember such and such a thing. Yeah, Pook, you're right. He just had little things that kind of aggravated me. But you know what? It wasn't long. And we could resolve an issue in a moment. In a moment. You know what my kids used to say? Don't worry about them, child. They act like they mad at each other. Pretty soon, they'll be in the room just kissing and talking and don't pay them no attention. And they didn't, because we never went to bed mad with each other. Are you kidding me? No. I got to wake up in the morning. I got to look at him. He looks at me. How important is that? That we fix ourselves up. Why? Because we're in love. When I'm in love with God, what do? I put on my best to come to church. Yes. It's important. See, when the church became degraded, nobody respects it. In our day, you go to church, or you in a Pentecostal church, Holiness Church, whatever you want to call it, you represented something. Not anymore. Not anymore. So everything is not, it don't deserve respect. It doesn't represent God. It represents everybody but him. You got to ask yourself, is God getting ready to write you a divorce? Is he getting ready to let you go because of your transgressions? Because you just failed to do right? You continue to do wrong again and again? He's tired of it. In the natural, we don't want to stay with somebody that keep aggravating us and frustrating us and making us mad about everything we do. Hey, look, I can do good by myself. But when you really give yourself to God, oh my God, if you can get everybody to understand, you can't. You try. Say, honey, give this a try. It works. You'll never be the same again. Your life will be changed forever. It is a beautiful feeling. God referred to the church as a whore. He said because they have done everything that I told them not to do. They're unfaithful. We don't want an unfaithful mate. If you're married, you like to believe that your husband is your husband and that you're not sharing it with somebody. No. That's what he renounced. He said the same thing about the church. You're a whore. That's why I divorced you. You wasn't faithful. I couldn't count on you. Would you be there tomorrow, next week? Would you still be there? No. They're unfaithful to God, having or involving many partners. And you know what the partners are? The people in the world. Go back to Egypt. Pick up all the crap that Egypt got down there. Those are partners. And sometimes we even partner up with them to do business. God don't run with the devil. He don't do it. He doesn't do it. But understand, we don't have no type of affection toward God. We don't feel for him. Do you feel that he loves you and you love him? It's a good feeling. Nobody leaves anybody that's given them absolute joy. You make me happy. You feel, it's only so much you're going to get from your mate, from your family. The main thing that makes a difference in your life is how much you get from God. And he's always waiting to do more. He wants to. He wants to do other things for you. Let him do it. But you then, and then you go to prayer. Well, Lord, I'll talk to you a little bit later. 10 minutes. If you do with me 10 minutes, you don't want to be with me. That's the God-sent truth. What is it about the people of God that don't want to pray, don't want to fast? Fasting is good. You're saying to him, I love you enough to deny myself. Yes. And if you love him enough to deny yourself, then you love him. You love him. So to be called a whore, that's not a nice name. But that's what God is saying. You're unfaithful to God, having or involving many partners, and the church is immoral. We have never, ever lived in a day that we've seen so much immorality. Not outside the door, in here. We're immoral. People having sex with each other in the church. God help us today. I can't understand that that's what you want. Why? And why would you come to church if that's what you want? Just stay out there where all them people run. Give yourself to God. Love him more than you love your husband. You know what? The church is full of lovers. They got lots of lovers because they love this. They love their careers. They love my mama, and you should. And I love my children, and you should. But what position do they have? You don't come before God. The person you love the most, you'll never put nothing before it. Never. I'm not doing it. This is my life. He's the reason I live every day. He's the reason I breathe. He's the reason that I get up in the morning and have a good time because of him. Oh, my God. Lovers are someone who you have a relationship with, but are not married. It also means sexual, but we're not dealing with sexual. We're dealing with spiritual. With all that's going on, I'm just thanking God that I love him first. You can always tell who people love the most. Let a crisis come. Or just a situation. Something changes. In a moment, they don't love God. They can do anything to him and never feel nothing about it. You ought to feel bad if you even think about it. Shouldn't go there. But they gladly do it. I look at people sometimes and think, boy, do you know he's looking? Do you know he can be hurt? Do you know he can be disappointed? Did you know that he's tired of being unloved? Come on. You go through all that suffering, pay the ultimate price, die and give your life, and they still don't treat you right. I don't get it. I'm saying, whatever you get, you deserve it. You deserve it. But you gotta reach out and you got to show him love. Love ain't worth a nickel for you to tell me you love me, but you never come home at night. When you get your paycheck, you never bring it to me. Give me that check. In most cases, I'm taking care of the bills and stuff. Give me the check. I remember asking Charles one time, I said, honey, how much is your check this month? Ain't talking about it. I said, I guarantee you I could change all that. Buddy, I'm not going to tell you how. I'm going to change that. And you know what he did? He said, Poop, wait a minute. I will read this out to you. Thank you. You're going to make me understand, buddy. You're not getting away with it. If I ask you for something, I want it. From that day forward, he never denied me to know what was on that pay voucher, what's on the voucher. And then I learned how to read them. Now I know what's there. I know what this means. Yeah. This is what God says to Israel. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with a wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one. For the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Why sorrow is incurable? Thy sorrow is incurable. For the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto you. You got to understand why God is whooping you the way he's doing, and you're not listening. He's whooping you. Why? That's why he's whooping you. He said, because you continually get worse instead of better. I'm looking for you to improve. I'm looking for you to increase. I'm looking for you to grow spiritual, and let us have this unbelievable spiritual relationship that nobody can break that. Nobody can do it. I won't allow it. No. When it's time to talk to God, make it time. I'm going to talk to God. You know what? He called the church at one point a harlot. That's a prostitute. That's a terrible name for his bride. So he said, I'm going to divorce you. I'm going to reach out to the people over here who really want me. I'm going to divorce you. I'm never going to be divorced. You better ask yourself while you're sitting on the pew, are you already divorced? It could be a possibility. Just check what I'm saying. Go down the checklist, you'll find out he divorced you a long time ago. You around here trying to shout and act like, I really got something going on. God says, You exchanged me for something bad. Then a prostitute sells herself for a little or nothing. Excuse me, at the end of the day. Why did you do it? Why did you sell yourself out? There's nothing good in a person cheapening themselves to a point where nobody wants you. I would like to believe that there are some women left in the world that would not just run themselves around from man to man to man. How do you like yourself? If there was no salvation, how do you like yourself? Then I'm just over here with Tom. I'm over here with John. I'm over here with Jane. Honey, who is he? Listen what he says. Moreover, thou hast taken thy sons and thy daughters, whom thou hast borne unto me, and these hast thou sacrificed unto them to be devoured. Is this of thy whoredoms a small matter? Is it for you to be a spiritual whore? Is that a small matter? No, that's a bad name. I thought I would never want to be in a position where you walk up, and this happens in high school. Hey, have you seen her? Yeah. Man, you don't want that. Everybody been there. Everybody been there. I couldn't take it. You pass yourself around like you have no value, and in actuality, you don't. Because if you valued yourself, Solomon said a virtuous woman. She's clean, she's moral, she loves her husband, and she does work for her family to take care of them and stuff. She's not a sell-off. The church sold itself out for money, for all these things, for a piece of Hollywood. I saw the other day, here comes Creflo Dollar up on the screen on Lifetime movies, and he's getting ready to do him a Lifetime. I thought you need to get saved. Get saved. Jesus, he's speaking through the prophet. He said, thou hast played the whore also with the Assyrians, because thou wast unsatiable. Yea, thou hast played the harlot with them, and yet couldst not be satisfied. So you go out there in the world if you want to. You ain't going to be satisfied. Go out there and do it. And every joker come along and tell you a bunch of lies, you believe it? God will never lie to you. He will never hurt you. He will never disappoint you. He said, how weak is thine heart, saith the Lord God, seeing thou doest all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman. What does imperious mean? Arrogant. Very arrogant. I'm thinking, how can you be arrogant? You're cheap. Anything cheap is not worth spending $1 on it. And women fall in that place all the time. Say, wake up, baby. Did not he tell you he didn't like you? Well, I think he does. You're stupid. Somebody treat me bad and disrespect me and want to beat up on me and call me names and all this stuff, but I think he likes me. Well, what does he do when he's mad at you? It's incomprehensible. We don't have many women that have any morals in this society. They're all over the place, looking for the next man. And that's the same way we treat God. We're looking for the next person. Well, maybe, I got saved, but I don't know. I don't know if it was for me or not. So you go out here and sell yourself out. He said the church sold herself for sin, for iniquity, for doing all these things. And that's why I divorced them. I got rid of them. Don't let God divorce you. That's what he did to Sarah. He divorced her. There was no doubt in my mind about it. Gave you the chance of a lifetime. Gave you 45 years of chances, and you never, ever fell in love with it. And she's saying on the tape, Rose, I never loved you and respected you the way I should have. I never loved God the way I should have. Never did. In all these years, what have you done? You played the whore all across the place. You wouldn't give God the time of day. I can't pray because I'm too tired. I can't pray because I'm too sleepy. You're going to talk to the person that you love. Yes. I look forward to that time before I can sit down. I'm already meditating on him before I ever go to prayer because my mind goes there all during the day. Thanking him for what he's done. Thanking him for how you kept me and took care of me all these years. Thank you because you didn't let me walk away. I never wanted to. But let me say thank you. We don't even thank God much. If you thank him for nothing, the fact that he went to Calvary for you, it requires a thank you. Yes. Listen what he says. They give gifts to all whores. But thou givest thy gifts to all thy lovers. They pay the whores, but they playing you. Then you wake up one day and say, I don't really have a life. If a man marries a virgin in this hour, it's going to be a miracle. I'm telling you, they don't believe in standing back. We go out tonight, we have sex tonight. My God, you don't even know who the fella is. Don't know where he's been. Don't know what he's been doing. It's amazing. You have no value yourself if you can do it. You don't even value you. That's why you don't mind passing it around. It's sad. It says they give whores gifts. They don't even give you none. You left me. They won't even give you a gift. Then he says, wherefore, O harlot, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, because thy filthiness was poured out, and thy nakedness discovered through thy whoredoms with thy lovers, and with all the idols of thy abominations, and by the blood of thy children, which thou didst give unto them. He said, look at all this stuff you've done. You idolized everything, made a God out of it. I'm the God. I'm the true and the living God. I'm the one who done this for you. It says, behold, therefore, I will gather all thy lovers with whom thou hast taken pleasure, and all them that thou hast loved, with all of them that thou hast hated. I will even gather them round about against thee, and will discover thy nakedness, and unto them, and they may see all thy nakedness. You're going to see who you are. When you strip somebody naked, you show who they are. You can't get away from it. You got to ask yourself tonight, am I part of the bride of Christ? Am I just thinking that? His bride is clean. If y'all remember many years ago, I don't know how many people was here then, I think it was on Austin Bluff when I had wanted to come out like the bride of Christ. And she was dirty, and her hair wasn't done, and she looked really, really bad. And she came out in the church looking like that. That's what the bride looks like. Because they won't live right. They won't do right. You got to do right. Make him happy. Can you imagine him looking down here? And this is who I call this my church. And look what they're doing. They're continually playing the whore all over the place. That doesn't make anybody feel good. That doesn't make you feel good in the natural if your husband or your wife is whoring around. You think, no, I don't want to be bothered. I always said I could never stay with a man who played on me. That is so unbelievably stupid. And what did you think about me to do it? If you thought about me, you wouldn't do that. If you loved me, you wouldn't do that. Yes. But you got to ask yourself, what's your position? What is it? Now, it says, God told the prophet Hosea to get him a whore for a wife, because I'm going to let her represent the church. And that's what she did. And so Hosea said, God warns his people to stop being unfaithful, or he will strip you naked and let her stars and cut off every path to escape. I want you to be faithful to me. If you tell God something, do it. If you make him a promise, keep it. Don't just break it. Nothing's worth somebody break their promise to you. They say, I'm going to be there for you. You can depend on me, honey. When it's all said and done, I'm going to be there for you. And if you're not there, that's a sad feeling. I'll never do it. Never. The spirit of whoredom, Hosea says, hath caused him to err. And they have gone a-whoring from their God, because the spirit that's within them makes them continually do wrong. You say you can't do right? Yes, you can, but you got to have right in you. You can't do right without being right. It's impossible. Listen, Hosea says, their deeds will not permit them to turn to God, for the spirit of whoredom is in the midst of them. They'll never turn to God. You got to ask yourself that question tonight. As bad as that sounds, am I a whore? If you ain't making God first in your life and you're not seeking him and being faithful in everything, yes. Boy, that sounds bad. It sounds bad and it is bad. It is bad. You should not be there. Now, I'm going to tell you, say, after the fall of Jerusalem, which is the church, their grief is sorrow and weeping. When you fall away from God, that's all you do. Cry and weep. Sad, depressed. Sometimes don't know why, but you know something is wrong inside of me. Because God haven't taken the full place that he fixed for himself. And that's in your heart. Now, did it? Think about it. So I'm looking at that thinking, do you not think you owe that? You know, people get married every day and say, I'll be faithful, I'll be true, yes, and all this crap. And you know what? Don't take them no time for they mess it up. And the first thing in your mind is, boy, I made a mistake, a late mistake. You should not just hop up and marry somebody because he looks cute. Everybody go ugly away with time. That's a fact. We ain't all staying cute. Well, I like his bicep, they're going to hang just like that man's did. He ain't going to be all puffed up and strong muscle. That joker getting ready to melt down just like you. No getting around it. But I like him because I love him with a little waistline. It's going to change. Yeah. You like a waistline, you're not going to keep one forever. And especially if she has your babies. Who was that? One of the guys, I'm trying to think of his name. And he said somebody told him, you don't look like you got 5 kids. His wife said, why didn't you tell him you didn't? You ain't had no baby, I had them. Yeah, I went through the pain. Think about it, people, that what God went through for you, he went through it because he loved you. He was willing to die for you. The church is in such a mess. You almost can't call it church. And that's the truth. Because it don't look like church. It don't act like church. You see all this garbage going on. They call themselves Christians. They lie, they curse, they steal, they party, they get drunk. No, you're not a Christian. Stop and think for a minute. You know what? God's looking for, he said, I'm coming back for a church without spot or wrinkle or any such thing. I'm coming back. He's not coming back with you while you sitting there looking like a dirt daubler, sitting there and all messed up and dirty and nasty. Come on. I'm coming back for a church that loved me, that was faithful to me. No matter what happened in their life, they never stopped being faithful to God. You got to love him always. Show it. Talk stuff ain't no good. Because anybody can tell you, honey, I really love you, and just lying through his teeth. Same way with a cheap woman. You what I've been looking for, sure. Just messed up all over the place. Think about it. The church should not be in that arena. We should not be a part of that. We should be different. We are different because he made us different. He wants us to separate ourselves just for him. He said to Israel, take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of you. Stay away from people that's going wrong. Get away from them. He said, well, that's my friend. When you get saved, if they don't want to be saved, they're not your friend no more. Because how can two walk together except they agree? We don't even agree. You can't do it. See? Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly and standeth in the way of sinners, for he sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Keep clean. Stay away from the world. Stay away from the things that would defile you and make you mess up and find yourself in dirt and filth all the time. Sometimes people's mind is filthy. Men sitting there looking, the nasty crap that go through their mind, you ought to have a pick and just hit them in the top of the head. Stop thinking, you dummy. That's all you can do is think about nasty things. You'd be surprised at the thoughts that go through men's life when women pass by. Man, did you see that? And I found out when I done the study not long ago that men think about sex 70 to 80% of their whole day. I thought, my God, when do you have time to think about something else? Just sex. Sex and more sex. All the time. When Charles first took me to Tennessee, as he went off to Fort somewhere doing basic training, and he left me there with his brother and sister-in-law until he got back. I ain't never in my life seen people that hung up on sex. They calling at lunchtime, honey, you think you can make it in? I said, what are they making it in to? I'm totally in the dark. I just want to know if you take a little time off. So I started asking questions. I said, what they taking time off for? Well, they call them when they ready for sex and they get a noon kind of piece. I ain't never seen you. You supposed to be working, and you coming home to have sex at lunchtime. That's what you call extreme. Night is coming. The middle of the day. And I kept looking at that. And every day, I was so startled. I said, are you kidding me? You talking about Sexville. And that's all they talk about. Girl, John came home today. It's the truth. But they don't have that type of feeling toward God. I met with God at noon today. It had nothing to do with sex. I couldn't believe it. This whole world is bent on sex. They can't take a shower without sex. Get a commercial. Oh. They going through all these changes, taking a shower, and ahhing and carrying on. I'm thinking, come on. Everything's got some kind. If they show you some type of pop to drink, sick. And one lady ran in. She's supposed to get in the shower. I don't know if you ever saw that commercial. She's supposed to get in the shower, and she runs in. I thought, is the water make you feel that good? Just crazy. Running past him, because he's coming, she's getting in there first. Or else they're getting in there together. God help. Ask yourself, what preoccupies your mind? What is it you think about nonstop? What you think about nonstop is who you're in love with. If you ain't in love, you don't think about it nonstop. Jesus is in my mind. Morning, middle of the day, nighttime, over in the middle of the night. That's where I think about. One day I'm going to come and be with you. Looking forward to it. The love of God that surpasseth all understanding, and we all can have it. We don't have to become whores. No, I'm going to follow God. I'm going to follow him. Everybody may talk about you and call you square, but it's okay. Follow God. You can't go wrong. Paul says it's unequally, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness? None. So why do you keep mingling stuff when you know that's against what he likes? Why do you keep doing that? That's what you got to think about. Why you keep doing it over and over again? I don't know. I can't help it. We had a girl in Germany, bless her heart. She was a nymph. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to tell you about it. But she never could get enough sex, ever. And everybody in the military that was there, that was in Swabish Gmünd, remember Denver? I don't know if you remember the woman or not. Do you remember? Yeah, and this woman, she was so ate up with sex until if a man came near her, she would lose it. Any man, ugly, fat, big, whatever, she would just lose it. And one time stopped in the housing area and had sex on a bench in the housing area. In the open. You got a demon. You ain't got a place. And never stop. Anytime you see a man that he just can't get enough sex, he got a spirit of lust. Because if he ain't getting enough from you, he looking somewhere else. Think about it. We don't have to be there. He said, no, I'm gonna be a decent person, an honorable man, a virtuous woman. Solomon said, who can find her? There are not many left no more. Where are they? They want you to come after them. And if you don't come after them soon enough, they're coming after you. Ain't no such thing. It used to be in our day, a woman would never, ever approach a man. Even if you liked him, he'd have to come to you. Not now. Hey, baby, what's your name? That's exactly where they are. It's no quiet thing, the way to do it. Any way you want to do it, it's okay. Look at yourself tonight. Say, you know what? If I want to make God happy with me, if I want him to know how much I love him, the things that are unclean, that we shouldn't be there, I'm not going to do it because my desire is to do him. can be good in this hour in spite of it, of all the stuff that's going on. We see so much violence and so much killings and all this stuff. In spite of all that, your love for God should excel everything. Everything. I'm just so glad that God loves me. And I'm glad that I love him back. That's important. I think sometimes we just don't want to give God what's rightfully his. See? No, ye not. To whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are, to whom ye obey, whether a sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness. You're gonna serve one or the other. Either serve your flesh, which is a mess, or you're going to serve the spiritual side of you that reaches out to God. I love this. I'm not driven. I can't control myself. That's garbage. You can't control yourself. God never gave us anything we couldn't control. He promised even if you have a temptation, I'll make a way of escape for you to get out of it. Got to understand the devil is out to get your soul to turn you into everything but decent. The devil ain't got a decent bone in his body. He's all about filth and low down stuff. Don't listen to him. The sexual acts that's committed in our society today, you couldn't even speak it in the church. That's how bad it is. The devil got full control of people's minds. Don't let him have yours. Let God have control of your mind. I admire any man or any woman that can stand up. If I'm not married, it's okay. It ain't the end of the world. I ain't got to turn into a freak. I can survive this. I can make it. With God, I can make it. Yes. I hope you will look at yourself tonight and see where you fit in at. If you're part of the bride of Christ, are you clean? If you're not going back with him. He's not coming back for dirt and for filth and for all type of nasty stuff that runs through your mind morning and night. What about good things? What about the righteousness of God? What about who he is and what he has done for me? That's what counts. And I see people sometimes thinking, do you understand that he's worth your time? If you gave him 23 hours a day, he would be worth it. Because we owe him so much. What can we do back? What can we give back? People not even thinking about giving back. Don't even think about it. Son, well, the way I feel about it, everybody's not going to be a Christian. You're right. But a lot of them are going to hell for sure. You don't want to go there. It ain't worth it. The more I study about hell and what it holds and the things that people go through and what have you, never going there. And you know what? I'm not serving God because there's a hell. I serve God because I love him. This is about love. This is about kindness, goodness. I'm always thinking what else I can do for God. Can he depend on you? Will you really do it? Will you really be there if he needed you? Now ask yourself the question. It's got to be. See, for somebody to pay that high of a price for us, to keep us from going there, you'd be a fool to go. It's already been paid for. You shouldn't go down that road. Start enjoying your saved life. I enjoy my saved life. Y'all look like y'all are miserable all the time. If I say, you fasted last week? Yeah. Like, get away from there. And as sure as I see that I'm coming there, you should want to. I'm going to tell you, that ain't my thing. Look, if it's about Jesus, it's your thing. Yes. So as I look at you tonight and think to myself, what is occupying your mind in the course of a day? Does it have anything to do with God? Have anything with the Word? Anything with prayer? What occupies your mind? Because whatever occupies your mind is where you're going to go. Sometimes somebody calls me and says, Mama, are you praying? I said, I'm still meditating. Still going over another thing. I learned over the years what he likes, and I'm there to give it to him. And he's pleased with it. When he said to me one day, I'll never forget it, he said, your ways please me. That's what I want. Maybe it doesn't matter to you. It does to me. It matters because I love you. It matters how you treat your wife or husband in the natural. It matters. Because love says you're going to do it right. I got to do it right. It feels good. I don't know why people rather go for wrong when right feels so good. This is a good life. And if you don't have it, something's wrong with you. Because I can tell you right now, serving God is the best thing that ever happened to me. And to this day, it still is. And it will be the day I die. Still there.
I'm glad that man, he didn't let teardrops fall. You know what? I know he'd find joy in every tear that I shed. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man didn't make heartaches. 'Cause I know he'd give me more. He'd give me more than I could bear. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man, he didn't create me. Oh, Lord, for one day. Man, he surely forsake me.